Welcome to Life Inside Hell. Hey everybody, it's me, Brother Wild Bill, coming to you from inside the most dangerous prison in Central America. I was a professional killer from 2006 until 2010. I was arrested in 2010 and charged with quintuple homicide. That's 5 of them. I was handed down a 46-year sentence. I've been in prison for 13 years. I'm the prison's chaplain as well as an inmate, and this is my audio diary. And by popular demand, people have been asking for stories, so I'm giving a 3-episode story about my life and my time in Costa Rica. And the last one is a short anecdote about that time. This is the third one. If you're listening to this, there's 2 others out there before this one, so you can go back and listen to them if you like this one. Or if you want to start from the first one and work your way through them, you can do that as well. So on the last episode, we talked about how that time ended, how a body was found, and I had to split from Costa Rica. But something happened really cool before that happened, and I wanted to give one story that needs its own attention. It was probably the most fun I ever had. There was about a 2-month period when I was living in a town called Jaco. That's on the Pacific side of Costa Rica, and it's Costa Rica's premier party town. It's like Reno, Nevada, Las Vegas all rolled up into one, and like Malibu Beach all rolled up into one thing. It's kind of foo-foo, but there's lots of hookers and lots of cocaine, lots of party. That's what it's about. It's only 2 hours driving slowly, 2 hours away from the capital city of San Jose. Yeah, I mean, you can do it an hour and a half if you're hauling ass, in the middle of the night. I've done it many times that way myself. So I was there on the stakeout, watching, doing something, working for the Costa Rican elite. I was staking out a place, and I was working with another fellow. And in order to do this long-term stakeout, long-term surveillance, we had to rent a place. And I rented this little house. It was only 3 blocks from the beach. It had a 12-foot high, 10 to 12-foot high wall all the way around it. So, a brick wall all the way around it. It was a 2-story house. It was almost like a tower. It had a very small footprint. It was tall, and the top of it had a sun deck on the top of it. If you're looking at the house on the left side, there was a pool, and you could jump off the top of the roof of the house into the pool. Now, this was just a killer pad, The door was on an automatic open-close, so you jump in your car, touch the button, the door slides open sideways. Slides open, you leave, you push it again, it slides back closed. Nobody knows what's going on inside. It was really cool. So we'd been there about a week, and we hadn't taken any time off, and it was a daytime surveillance thing. So we were from 5 o'clock in the morning forward working, and I hadn't taken any time off, and so we decided to take a night and go party. And when we went out, we just couldn't believe the amount of women, like escorts, prostitutes that were in this town. I mean, but not like sleazy ass, nasty looking hooker prostitutes. I mean, these are like really beautiful women everywhere. So we got hooked in with this group of girls. There were like 10 of them. They were off and they were drinking, and they invited us to drink with them. And so we're at this bar, and we're like, these 10 beautiful women, they're all like young, from all over too, not just Costa Rican girls. I mean, they're like, girls from all over. And so the night went on, and we explained we had this really cool pad, and so like some of the girls, like, they don't have anywhere to crash because they work, and then they have to go back to the capital city to where they live, or somewhere else. And so we invited them to come and stay with us. So they did. Now I want to be really clear. I've never paid for sex in my life. I've never exchanged money for sex in my whole life. Never have done it. Never done it. Never will do it. I feel like that's kind of, I'm above that. I'm Wild Bill. Girls want to fuck me, So we didn't, these weren't hookers we paid. They were hookers, but they weren't hookers that we paid. They were just girls that were off work and wanted to come. So they come to stay at our house, and then it became like the place where like high-end escorts could crash for free there. And so like we had this little house, and I had a bedroom, my friend had a bedroom, and we had all these like beautiful women there 24/7. And so I mean, it was like this running orgy 24 hours a day there in that house. I would work and come home, eat and fuck and go. I mean, it was just an incredible thing, And so the girls like to do cocaine, and there's a funny story about this. This is the first time I ever did cocaine. The girls like to do cocaine, and I'd never used drugs. But I went. We had like lots of money. We had lots of money. So I went and I bought a half of a kilogram of cocaine from some Colombian boys. And they just broke it. They didn't even weigh it. I was there. Guy took a machete and put it in the center and pushed and kind of cut it in half, a brick of cocaine. And I gave him $3,500. I remember. So I come back and I give the cocaine to my friend, and he puts it in a safe. And then every morning, I went to the store and I bought this platter. It was a mirror. It was like a platter, but it was a mirror. It had two little handles on it. And every morning I'd get up and there were like 8 girls there or something, and they're all like draped everywhere, sleeping. I wake up in the morning, I'd go get the platter and cut out 8 huge lines of cocaine and be like, come on girls, get your breakfast. And they'd all get up and do lines of cocaine and be like, get them fucking clothes off, And so the party would begin. You had like naked hoes jumping off the roof of the house into the. I mean, this is like every man's dream. So I got to live this for about 2 months, a little over 2 months. But the first time I ever did cocaine was like this, and cocaine's not my favorite thing to do either, by the way. And you'll see why. So there was these 2 girls from Limon, the Limon province of Panama, which is like filled with like Jamaican people. It's like filled with. Well, they're not Jamaican, but I mean, that's like the same culture. They're Afro-Caribbean, West Indian is what they call them. And they speak like Patois English, like from Jamaica. And so these 2 little girls, they were cousins, but they looked like twins, and they billed themselves as twins like when they were like working there, hooking. And so we're all there, and I'm talking to them, and they're little bitty. They're like 5 foot tall, but they have the little bitty waists, huge asses, and huge boobies. And they're like 22, 23 years old. So we're talking, and we decided we're going to go upstairs, the 3 of us, and fuck. And I'm all excited, like super excited. And so the girls are like, let's do a line with us, Bill, do a line of cocaine with us. And I'm like, no, I don't do that shit. I don't know nothing about that. And they're like, no, but just try it. If you don't like it, it's okay. So I did a line of it with them. I let them, these 2 little demons, talk me into doing a line of cocaine. I did a line of cocaine. I liked it. So I did another line, and then I did a 3rd one in like an hour. And so I'm like, oh, woo, going 100 miles an hour. Let's go upstairs and fuck. And so I'm all excited. So we go upstairs and start kissing and taking off clothes and shit. And my dick was deader than a doornail. Wouldn't do shit. And I'm like, oh my God, what the fuck is wrong with me? And the girls start laughing. And they're like, well, it's because you're doing cocaine, Poppy. And I'm like, what? And they're like, that's what happens to guys when some guys when they do cocaine. I'm like, well, why in the name of motherfuck would you want me to do cocaine if we're going upstairs to fuck? What's wrong with you? And so I was like really horrified, and they're laughing. They think it's funny that I'm so scared. So they're like, we go back downstairs and they give me a glass of warm milk. I remember, I hate that. It's like drinking warm milk. But I drank a glass of warm milk and a couple of beers, and like an hour later we went back upstairs and did the dirty deed. And even though it still wasn't very good, I didn't enjoy it very much because I couldn't come. I don't know. It was like, but anyway, so I learned that if you're going to do cocaine, you don't do it in mixed company if there's any chance of getting laid. So that was my first time. But then I was really sad when we had to go back to the Central Valley to work because the time was over. But anyway, so if any of my old girlfriend hoes are listening, I love you girls. Thank you for the memories of those 2 months of just like, I can't even remember the names, but I do remember romance, baby. Anyway, so if you like these stories, this is the 3rd and last one. Like, subscribe, comment if you'd like more stories about my past. These are them. Pull the description box down. In the description box, you'll find ways to contact me directly on Facebook and Instagram. Also, there's a Wikipedia link if you want to know more about me. You can read about it. And if you want to really know more about me, buy my book, Long Live the King, Wild Bill. There's a link in the description box. It's available on Amazon in paperback and in ebook. So it's about my first year in prison. It's a prison memoir. Thanks, guys, for listening. Jesus Christ loves you, and I love you too.